Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, let me teach you, boomers and retirees, as high income earners if you're still working, or strong savers in IRAs, or high capital appreciated assets like a real estate portfolio, a stock portfolio, your company office building, or your business, like many of you that we've talked to. And you may be somebody that's already retired, or you may be somebody trying to get to retirement. I'm going to talk to you about Bob from Illinois, an accountant, a CPA by trade, by background and trade. And he said, look, I don't want to get taxed to death, and I want to see, can I go ahead before these taxes shoot up? Does it make sense for me, and can I retire now? But I don't want to get taxed to death, and I don't want to leave a big tax burden either. Well, folks, I'm going to teach this coming Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. Just like Bob learned, and you can learn too, even though it's complimentary, even though being complimentary, the space fills up very quickly. And many of you had been laboring over this Labor Day weekend of taxes. Some of you shared articles with me that I teach on Hidden Wealth Radio this weekend that are ironically the articles I planned on teaching. One talks about coming back from this Labor Day, how we're right around the corner from what Bob calls it the Great American Tax Plan. I call it the Tax America Plan. And I want to teach you how you can avoid it. Go to retirementprotected.com, that's retirementprotected.com, and learn how to do strategies with a proven track record of measurable results that Bob did. Let me give you a couple examples. Bob was able to use one deduction that not only helped him untax his IRAs, a good portion for now, and then we have a game plan to attack the rest later, but also to untax his built-up capital gains that the Biden and his crew, the Bernie Sanders and Bidens of the world, are looking to tax, looking to double the capital gain tax rate, looking to lower, right, the step up in basis. I've talked a lot about this, folks, and this may even be retroactive back to the beginning of this year. So if you're going to get tax planning done, the time to get it done is while you still have time to implement a strategy like Bob in 2021. So here's what we were able to do. We were actually able to untax IRAs, Bob didn't pay any tax out of his pocket to Roth convert. Like many of you I've talked to, ran out and paid money to Uncle Sam, getting nothing for a return on your investment, right? Other than untaxing some of your other money, but you lost the opportunity cost on the tax that you paid. Why not use a deduction that offsets the tax liability and the two wash each other? Folks, we help clients do that all the time. Now, again, these are strategies I'll teach. Some of you can learn, and some have reached out. It's probably the number one topic I'm asked is what can I do to use these strategies to untax our IRA money so you have lesser required minimum distributions or can become a low tax or a no tax retiree. But Bob also used more in that deduction to untax his capital gains. And then he learned, which I'll teach Tuesday, how to have an institutional managed portfolio for the assets he wants managed, so that you don't have any build-up capital gains and you don't end up having to pay phantom income tax or leave capital gain tax to your heirs. So less tax, more money, more time. And he's a big giver, a giver of his time as well as to charities. Well, instead of giving money to the government, he's now able to give money to the sources and resources that he has to those things that he supports. Folks, government's coming. There's an overhaul of taxes. I talk about the litany of the different changes coming up this weekend on Hidden Wealth Radio, and you can listen too. But I want to teach you how to just avoid them altogether. Imagine insulating your income from Uncle Sam, he wanted stability too. He said, look, I want safe alternatives instead of just the direct stock market. And we were able to teach him how to create a $60,000 market risk-free as well as locked in 7% yields with no direct stock market correlation for the rest of his life, folks. And it only can go up, it can't go down. So imagine upside, no downside. We net return increased his money managed by 4% because we got rid of 2% tax, 2% of unnecessary fees, and lowered his risk by 40%. Folks, the time to get serious about your money and the impact of all these taxes and inflation and everything else that many of you are laboring over and wondering and worrying, what can I do? Imagine getting to work and learning how to have upside without downside, how to drastically reduce your risk, cut your costs, increase your returns. But number one, insulate your income from Uncle Sam. If we don't get that right, everything else will be inferior. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com, and learn like Bob learned. And you can learn too, so you don't fall victim to the Great American Tax Plan or the Great Plan to Tax America. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.